Welcome back to The Nest. I'm Gianni Fiore,
I'm Colton Van Cleve.
And I'm Jackson Boisvert.
and we have a lot to talk about today. I guess we can start with you, Colton. You have an announcement to make?
Yes, my announcement, sadly, is that I am actually going to be leaving the Nest here. This is going to be my last show on the Nest, and I'm going to be setting my sights forward on things I'm going to be doing here at SSTV, and mainly that's going to be Stockton Night Live.
Tell us a little about Stockton Night Live.
Well, we had one show in the spring, and it was actually very successful for our first show. But now we have the theater club involved with Joe Hoffman and everything, so there's a lot more collaboration with Stockton Night Live. So there's a lot of moving parts going on, and I'm really excited just to see where the show is going to go.
That's great. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot that goes into that, and that's why you have to kind of really maximize your time, right?
Yeah.
And you had to make some sacrifices.
Of course,
Clearly
and I
with
think
us.
one of them is leaving this show here, and I've had a lot of fun on this show, and it's a lot of good memories, especially with you and I here on the show. And
We've had a long run. Colton and I started this back in our freshman year.
Yep.
We're now juniors, so we've put in a lot of semesters, a lot of late hours, a lot of long mornings, and
a lot
it's
of time.
crazy.
And I think even too, just like how we even just started the show, and even how like we kind of just started the name, the Nest, and how we kind of it just clicked. And I think the name especially just kind of clicked and really resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah.
yeah.
The Nest really is a great name.
Yeah,
Good
it's been
branding.
a lot of fun.
Do you have any favorite interviews that you guys have done? Or skits or anything at all over the
Yeah.
years?
Personally, for me, one of my favorite was when Colton and I were just starting, we covered the Hip Hop Summit.
That was fun.
It was so exciting because it was my first time doing like a large scale production, and Colton and I were kind of just like a two-man team. We were alternating between camera work and interview. I interviewed the keynote speaker, Talib Kweli. So Colton was my cameraman for that, but we also did some field work, and we were interviewing people who were working it, people who were going to watch, people who were on the panel. And it was just really exciting to kind of be in the midst of everything. And it was one of the first major projects, so it was just really enjoyable, really stuck with me.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, and I think there's a lot of good memories on the Nest, but I think my most memorable interview that I can really just think on is Nest related is Mick Drake, when I interviewed him for the OTW wrestling, and that was just fun because we got to do the interview in the ring right before the whole event started. And even just, I've always said this too on any like show I kind of go on, just like this, he's like an energetic guy, and you just feel it in the interview, and just it was a fun interview just to do, fun event to cover, and that was definitely one of my favorite parts of the Nest for sure.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I mean, there's all this talk about when you're in college, even in, I guess, high school too, you should really get involved, right, with your school.
Absolutely.
And obviously, to me, I'm newer to the Nest than you guys are. And I think that it's really cool that you've been able to be involved in all of these really interesting events at Stockton
Yeah.
and kind of interview the faces of those events, right? And kind of really be involved and get that perspective. And you're representing SSTV, which SSTV is taking a lot of new directions too this semester with the opening to new shows and things like that. It's all really, really exciting. And like you said, you have SNL coming up. Jackson, what else are you excited about?
Oh, I'm just excited to see all the different content that we're starting to create. When Colton and I came to SSTV as freshmen, there was so much opportunity, and there weren't a lot of people kind of jumping at it. Colton and I, we took the bait right away, and we started the show, and we got it up and running. And the show itself has taken a lot of different directions. We started out kind of doing news. We did a lot with the Argo. We did a lot of field work at Stockton, and then we kind of took it a little further, and we created our own kind of media source, if you will. And now we're taking it into a direction of podcasting, which is completely different than how we started. But with what SSTV is doing now, we have 5 wonderful shows. And if you're not watching all 5 of them, you should definitely give some of our other ones a look at. Gianni, you have your own show, right?
I do. I have a show that talks about movie news and just different film topics. It's called Chatting Cinema. We can link that below.
And that's really cool that you're doing that, because I think it's been a long time coming that we actually need to have like a movie related show like that. So I think that's really cool. But even kind of just going off what you're talking about, how like it just started off with you and I. Like SSTV really was just you and I, and now just look at how much it's grown, and we've really just gotten people, involved. And I think I even just talk about that too, and that's what I'm trying to go with Stockton Night Live, is that I'm trying to showcase that there's so much potential that this comm department can have here at Stockton. But I think it's a shame how some people really don't get involved as much, and I'm trying to encourage more people to get involved. And I think we have done that a lot too at SSTV, because now we have, again, like a movie show. We have Raw OJ. We have all these different shows going on here, so it's definitely really cool to see.
Yeah.
The platform that Stockton has like provided us as students of such a fun craft that's so diverse. I've got to do scripting for SSTV. I've got to be involved in editing, in audio setup, small things like learning how to put on a lavalier. That's something I now know how to do as a professional. So in case I ever had to mic somebody for a future job, or even mic myself up, it's something I feel comfortable doing. It's like all the small things that, it's so emotional to kind of like talk about everything we've done, because I feel like we have done so much
Yeah.
in such a short time, but really hasn't been a short time. We've been here for a while.
Already 2 years.
Yeah.
A full 2 years. Isn't that crazy? Jeez.
Yeah. Time
Yeah.
does fly.
It really does.
And I think that's the wonderful thing about SSTV, is that it is this platform and this club where you can come in and you can take advantage of all these different projects and opportunities that are at your disposal, and you can really find your footing as a person, right? You can see what you like to do and what you're passionate about, and then you can take those passions and those skill sets and put them into something that is really great for the community, not just Stockton, but just the community as a whole, And I'm a firm believer in that anything that you're passionate about, people will want to see, right?
Of course.
Oh, yes.
And I think that bleeds into your new project with SNL. And I think, like you mentioned, you did it last year, and now this year it's only growing, right? It can only
course.
get bigger from here. And even with me, with my show, Chatting Cinema, and then in this show here, right? We're still kind of finding our footing, but it's all a learning experience, and it's really great,
And it's the product too, what you're saying about the passion, because I think people really know when there is passion behind a project, because it does make a project so much better. And I think we learn that as we move forward with film and anything that we really do here at SSTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all moving forward in our careers here, not only as students, but also on SSTV. We're all kind of branching out, and it's going to be really interesting to see how our program not only continues to grow, but also our organization, and, see all the new, like we just had a new podcast come out with Double A.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be filming later today, and, they're going to be doing a lot of new shows, a lot of new episodes, and it's really exciting to see the growth that we started with to where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, when you guys started 2 years ago, did you think that it would ever blossom into anything like it is now?
I think so.
Oh, I
think it-
couldn't wait to watch this program grow, to take off, and see so many people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Colton and I kind of started, we were, we had a lot of help. It was really nice. We had a lot of help, and we had a lot of people coming around, but we didn't have anyone who is we had, there was always people with their short films, because, the comm department does give you a lot of opportunities to submit your projects to SSTV. But there was no other, like, driving force. So it's so great to see, like, a bunch of other participation.
Yeah.
I think it was like we actually had people that came by and helped out once in a while, but we never actually had like a set number of people that are actually like members of the club. So I think, did I think it would blossom into this? Oh, I think so. I think it definitely. I saw this coming because, at least in my view, I think it's simple, because I think if you actually get people involved and tell them how it can benefit them in their careers as college students, I think that's when people will be like, okay, I kind of want to do this. It kind of goes back to the passion that you're talking about, is that, people are like, okay, I really want to do this, or I want to try it out, because I do have an inner passion. Maybe they're too afraid to maybe fail or whatever. And I always say too, it's like, this is the time to fail and practice. So I think with people actually wanting to come in and say, oh, I want to try it out, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah,
that's the passion.
once you start getting the work in and you start doing it, it just gets so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And that's something that I learned because at first, when we first did this, our first time, went to a classroom. We set it up all fancy
yeah.
with the 2-chair setup we had. We had a table, and then from there we kind of started to grow into our own niche, our own way that we like to do it. And then from there, we never stopped growing. We always kept trying to push this further and further to where, look what we are now.
And it was always us just carrying chairs and all the time, and
Oh my goodness,
just
yes.
it was a workout in itself. I knew not to go to the gym when it was Nest recording day because I'm already going to be working out at the studio.
Lifting the chairs.
So, and now we have a whole setup here. The studio itself here is all redone. So definitely there's a lot of improvement that has gone on here at SSTV. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about the studio. I think all of these new things and these new tools that we have at our disposal is all due to that preliminary work that you guys did 2 years ago. Obviously there is an interest in this club, and that shows that Stockton is willing to invest and to offer these things to us. And then going off of what you said, Jackson, I mean, I think there's something really fulfilling about putting content out.
Oh, absolutely.
Once you're really in it and you're making things, I think that's what really, first of all, as content creators, keeps us coming back, right? And then as people watching, they want to keep coming back to see what we're doing. So it's really interesting. It's good
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah. So I guess you would say you're most excited for SNL and what you're going to be doing with that.
Yep.
When can we hope to see?
Our first show is going to be February of 2020. There's not an exact date set. And we're kind of bouncing off 2 venues, either the PAC or the Campus Center Theater. So just stay tuned for that. We'll have an announcement for that definitely by the end of the semester. But no, for the rest of the semester, just look out for updates. We're gonna have some promo videos. We're gonna have some interviews with some of the cast members, writers, all the members of the show. I know next week actually we're gonna have our first official SNL meeting between the theater club and SSTV. So it's definitely a lot of exciting stuff in the making, and I think with this 2-club collaboration between us at SSTV and them at the theater club, it's it's something that I guess really RU is not really used to, and I think we're going to set like a new standard for communications here in Stockton.
Yeah, that's really great. It's a lot of good stuff that you're working on.
Absolutely.
And it's really important too. I think that we have this sort of cohesion between the clubs at our school, and it's nice that you're collaborating with the theater club. I think I'm really excited for it. I think that'll be cool.
To see it, yeah.
I love the idea of that. Stockton Night Live.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
And actually, it's funny with that name because originally I thought about this show since 2018, like the end of my freshman year, going into the summertime. I was like, it'd be kind of cool if we actually had like a live show of some sort. And I really didn't know where I was going to go with it, but I was thinking of the name SSTV Tonight. I was like, okay, that'd be kind of cool. And actually, my roommate Mike, he is actually the one who told me about why don't you just do SNL, Stockton Night Live? And I was like, that's genius. I was like, that's awesome. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And I was like, yeah, so actually I got to give him credit for that name for SNL, but it's definitely exciting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really exciting stuff. We're really looking forward to it. And we hope you come back to the Nest, maybe to promote it somewhere down the road.
Anytime, I'm willing to come back.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
As for myself, I'm still working hard on Chatting Cinema. That's coming out Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'm really excited about that. We're talking movies all the time, and so yeah, be on the lookout for that. Jackson, anything you want to close on?
For me, I'm continuing here with the Nest. I have some visionary ideas that I might be making some changes to our formatting, so stay tuned for that. But I'm just really excited to continue working at SSTV and kind of branch out into doing my own projects as well. So stay tuned, and we'll see what the future holds for all of us.
Yeah. See you soon.